This is Anton, otherwise known by his online name, Antoons, is a 34-year-old artist that built a solid career online, but it's very rare that people will know the full story about Anton and his past. Well, in this video I'm going to be doing just that. This is the dark side of Antoons. Anton never had an easy start to life, since when the guy was only 3 years old, his father kidnapped him. He went from Estonia to West Ukraine without telling anyone. On an anonymous website, Anton can be seen posting a lot about his childhood and shows previous drawings he did during this time. This was posted on July 25th, 2015. Anton was eventually found by his mother with the help from the police, and was unable to see his dad again until he was 18. Without telling anyone, I remember a few moments when I came to the daycare, and we got into a huge truck with a lot of his belongings. It was a fun journey for a child, since I could see all the Baltic countries on the way to Ukraine. I remember drawing when we were staying for a few months in some country house, and later my dad's relative apartment before we settled in a village called Sadki. That's where he married a new woman. I have surprisingly many memories from that time, but sadly none of the drawings I did have survived. After about 2 years, my mum finally found my whereabouts with the help of the police. When she arrived, I could not take anything with me as she rushed me to the car. I never returned to that village again, but the real tragedy for me was that I could not see my dad again during the rest of my childhood. Only after 18 years did I meet him again, but that's another story. Anton began his passion for drawing when he was around of the age of 3. He began drawing well-known characters from Looney Tunes and Moomin Valley. When he was in the 5th grade, he started to get obsessed with the popular game and TV show Pokemon, playing their games and collecting their merchandise. With this obsession came many drawings for his love of the game. Middle school wasn't the easiest time for Anton, since his grades were constantly declining. This was putting pressure on Anton, since he didn't want to be placed in a special ed class which was constantly being threatened to him. Anton claims that his classmates lost interest in cartoons, which meant he wasn't able to share his passion with anyone else around him. Anton used playing video games and drawings as an escape from reality of life. When Anton was 13, he had been open about how he felt suicidal. He also felt the only way to blend in school was to become an arse himself. He explains how it turned him into a different person by making him more cynical. Going into high school, Anton started doing animation around the age of 16 and 17, since he took an animation course. Anton's sister Julia is the one thing that got him back into drawing, and was apparently his reason for becoming inspired to be an artist. A lot of his drawings were of her. However, he also mentions how she was emotionally abusive to him and would threaten suicide to guilt him at times. Fast forwarding to 2014, Anton was in the works of a game called Fetus Run, where you play as a fetus and have to survive being, well, aborted. Not really much else to say here. In 2014, Antoon started his channel with a series called Mr. Sneaks. He also began a series called Funeral, with his most popular one having around 159 million views. When it comes to Antoon's channel, that's all I can say. He was able to build a channel with 1 million subscribers, but this isn't where the controversy started. Anton was criticized on Twitter on how he traces his art, and someone showed all the examples of how his parody videos were traced. Anton was first criticized on YouTube about tracing by a channel that goes by the name of Daft Punk. In this video, Daft Punk explains how his parody videos are basically lazy, stolen, and just plain scummy, since by tracing someone's drawing, you are proving that you are not confident in your own ability to animate and become original in your own style. Anton told Daft Punk that what he does is okay, since many other channels themselves trace. Anton would also explain of how he just wanted his work to be as close to the original as it possibly could. He also argued that his work is transformative and does not degrade his creative skill due to the fact that only one of the few frames of animation are traced. He also argued that his traced work is transformative and does not degrade his creative skill due to the fact that only one or a few frames of animation are traced and the rest of said animation is original. And obviously that argument does not work.
You can see for yourself that the tracing and parodies is extremely common. And I can prove you that people like Flash Kids, Oni, people like, I think
Do they have examples of them tracing?
Yeah, definitely. I can send you right now.
And so he gave me a few examples. One being Flash Kids' Paper Mario parody, which when overlaid isn't traced at all.
Anton responded to Daft Punk with a video where he goes on to explain how tracing isn't the end of the world. Anton also allegedly started to false flag and copyright strike videos criticizing him, which only made the drama worse at the time. Anton's comics on Twitter started to become controversial, since people thought Anton was addressing his opinion more when it came to joking, and some others just thought the jokes were in bad taste. Anton made a comic about George Floyd being killed, where Anton's character basically gives George Floyd the ability to breathe. There are also some other ones where Anton makes jokes about trans and gay rights. In this one, he is insinuating that pedophilia will be normalized. Personally, these comics would be nothing but jokes to me, but Anton can be seen arguing with these type of people on Twitter, so some people would take this as Anton portraying his opinion rather than making jokes. Anton's found himself in a public argument with a 17-year-old user known as PuppyChan. It started on September 12, 2020, when they quote retweeted his reply to another Twitter user asking him, "Why am I weird?" in which he responded, 1. You are trans. 2. You are autistic. 3. You go by made up pronouns, non-binary. 4. You can't spell and talk like a 5-year-old. PuppyChan made a quote retweet that went, "Trans and autistic people actually exist. Non-binary and using other pronouns exist as well. And for the spelling thing, some autistic people have typing quirks since it's easier for them to communicate. Please educate yourself before spreading hate. Thank you." Anton then posted a screenshot of their quote retweet. "This artist is educating me while living in a fantasy world." PuppyChan and Antoons decided to have a bit of a back and forth on Twitter, and then to win the argument, Antoons decided it was a good idea to say, "Were you not born biologically male?" This tweet actually pissed off a lot of PuppyChan's followers, and they mocked Anton for weeks on end. Shortly after, many YouTube videos were created on the matter by the YouTube commentary community, all criticizing him for heavily questioning the sex of a minor, as well as expressing discriminatory views. On September 26, Anton released a trailer for our upcoming 2D fighter game, Pill Fighter. It featured PuppyChan's original cartoon dog character they used as well as an avatar to represent themselves. This also sparked a wave of outrage by the same previous crowds, because in the animated duel, he depicted their avatar lifting up their dress, exposing themselves, and using their period blood as a projectile weapon. This was done without PuppyChan's knowledge or permission, and when they found out what he had made, they reported that they felt horrible and humiliated. Shortly after, they contacted Anton, asking him to delete the video and take responsibility for the harassment their followers caused him. The harassment caused PuppyChan to claim she attempted suicide. Antoons claimed that PuppyChan was doing it for attention. He also tried to justify his actions due to the fact that PuppyChan himself was accused of grooming. A YouTuber that goes by the name of Just Stop uploaded a video talking about Antoons and his antics online.
He and PuppyChan seem to have a decent understanding in DMs, and they agreed to put aside the drama on both sides and make peace. Usually this is where the story would end on a happy note of everyone becoming friends and both sides seeming more mature to each other, but not even a day later, literal hours after this happened, Daft had another update. He had a friend in the Antoons Discord server, and no, I could not find a way in myself, that shows a completely different story. In these screenshots, he describes PuppyChan as having taken all responsibility for what happened despite giving a lousy apology, and that he wins because she DM'd him about taking down the video. I can't see how he thinks he's the winner in that scenario, as he just seemed to provoke her to the point she finally had to respond, but to each their own, I guess. That calm interaction with her was apparently a non-aggressive act, and that he would wait until she's 18 in a few months to quote-unquote fully go in on her. Something else I see here is a clear series of thought that Anton has, that being of using her. He sees PuppyChan as a good source with a massive following that can be useful to him. These are his words shown in DMs, not my interpretation. The phrase that baffles me the most in these screenshots, however, is when he says, "She's a valuable figure in this fight with the left." To me, this implies he was trying to subtly get her to endorse him and maybe become more right-wing. It's very confusing to say the least. He isn't saying it in a joking fashion, so I can only assume he wanted to use PuppyChan's massive influence on the platform to get more popular with the left-leaning side of Twitter, wait until she's 18 to quote, go all out on her, and then disassociate himself with her.
Anton, seeing this video, decided to draw Just Stop being spanked. He also drew Harley TBS getting spanked, who at the time was underage. Harley and Anton have a history of each other, since they have argued about the time Harley was groomed when he was 15. Anton was making up excuses to Harley's groomer, saying that the guy has autism, so it isn't his fault. Anton went on to say that child porn is only illegal when adults are involved. Anyway, going back to Anton drawing Harley getting spanked, that's a sentence I never thought I'd have to say. Anton denies it is child porn because it's fictional, and by saying spanking isn't necessarily erotic, and more of a punishment. In the year of 2022, Antoons would soon release a follow-up video from his first drama, Antoons Drama Part 2, where he would expose the blatant hypocrisy of Just Stop's statements. In February of 2021, Cosmodor was outed for dating a 14-year-old when he was 19. Yes, it was legal where he lived in Germany, but many people saw this as creepy and just plain weird. Cosmodor's excuse for this action was that a lot of people he was growing up with were in relationships with older guys when they were 15, with him even stating that his mum used to date older guys when she was young, so it wasn't weird to him. Well, Anton actually left a comment where he defended Cosmodor for getting a bunch of hate and said to Cosmo he is free to reach out if he ever wants to speak. Yeah, not really much else to say here. On April 1st, 2021, Anton commissioned a $200 drawing from Butch Hartman. It was a drawing of his character, Mr. Freaks, setting the transgender pride flag on fire. However, a Twitter user that goes by the name of Savvy Twitter noticed that the flag colours were drawn in. Antoons had just commissioned an image with a blank flag and coloured it in himself. More analysts revealed that it was indeed Anton's own drawing, and this was corroborated by him posting the original drawing on his YouTube community tab. Anton was immediately criticised because while Butch himself was known for shady practices in the past, Anton doing this was still defaming Butch's image. On Twitter, people such as Ellis Mark and Salty Dan and Saberspark saw this. People such as Speak called out Anton on videos. Ellis Mark, however, suspected that the commission was to be fake, either it being traced or edited by Anton. This would later be confirmed to be true, as Anton would release a clip showing the real illustration, as it actually featured one of his characters holding up a burning white flag, as it was soon revealed to be intended to be nothing more than an April Fool's joke during between the end of March and the beginning of April. Antoons is someone that has done a lot of shady shit in their past, and honestly we could go on, but after going through all of this, I almost feel sorry for the guy, mostly because I truly believe he thinks what he says, and he thinks he is doing the right thing, and I think it's sad that someone that can be this delusional. Antoons, I know you were a fan of my Harley TBS video, and you and Harley had a bit of a back and forth in my comments, but I generally hope you learn from the past and can do better moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, consider becoming a member where you will get a shout out in every video I make. You will also get other perks, you can read them here, or donate a super thanks to show your appreciation, or just do nothing. That also works. I've been WackyTV, and until next time, trans people are good.
We'll be right back.